Is this a vote against the euro? Well, I don't think so. I mean, honestly, I've been asked, one of my missions there was to go and ask people, do you not want to be in the euro? Do you? And I went, I asked this question around a lot in Veneto, which is a country, is a region which has elected a Northern League governor, i.e. the most Eurosceptic of Italian parties. And actually no one will tell you, I'm against the euro, or very, very few people. The euro is still seen as a stabilization mechanism. Remember, Italians don't trust their politicians, so the fact that there is someone else in charge, Brussels or the Germans, it's actually seen almost by many, almost with some relief, which is a great paradox. It's very different from this country, but I think that's because, by and large, British people, for example, think to be reasonably well governed by their government, whereas Italians don't trust their government at all. Anyway, if you look at the opinion polls, 7 out of 10 Italians say, we're happy in the euro. There's been a big song and dance made out of Beppe Grillo's commitment to hold a referendum on the euro. That's true. But he's never said, I will vote no in this referendum. And the other big point is that that's not really a key message in his campaign. He's talked about it, but then he quickly realized that would be too complex. It would divide his vote. His message, send the politicians home, cut their wages, which was much better one. So when we interpret this result, I don't think we should consider it a no to the euro. However, it's true that there is an anti-austerity element in this. Now, here we see the same tension which happened in Greece. You have people who say they want to stay in the euro, but by and large, they seem quite fed up with the strategy which has been designed in Brussels. So how do you reconcile these two very contradictory messages which are coming out is a massive challenge which Brussels and Rome and Brussels face.
Good morning to everybody. First of all, I wanted to clarify a point. I totally agree with Ferdinando on the euro and the European position. I strongly believe in this vote there is no willingness to send a signal of anti-European attitude from the political, from the Italian voters. That's my feeling. What I disagree with him is the level, the importance of the austerity, if you want, behind this vote. I think this is largely an anti-austerity vote, and I would consider it even a stronger drive than the need and the will to clean the political mess that exists in Italy. So these are the two points I wanted to stress. And also because we can see that most of the votes that are behind Grillo are coming both from the center right and center left, and this makes me feel that is exactly one more reason to indicate the austerity as the main driver towards this protest vote.
We now shift a bit from the politics of it to the more economic financial perspective. So please, Silvio.
Good morning, everybody. And I would like to build on the last statement that Leonardo made, which is basically the assumption that going to election again is going to be probably the worst scenario. And certainly I think that's the case from a market perspective. I would like to step back and maybe look at the country for a more European dimension, which is probably the approach that the market has got at this stage. We're coming from a debt crisis which has been pretty severe, that has brought about the experience of the technocratic government in Italy, which has brought, I think, a number of very important steps at the European level, with the creation of a stability mechanism that can transfer flows of support of money in countries which are struggling to consolidate their public finances. We've got the experience of Greece, the experience of Ireland, the experience of Portugal. So there is an element of European solidarity which is based on very strong conditionality elements to which every country in the eurozone has subscribed. Now, the fact that now Italy has no government, it's a pretty severe shock to the perception of this conditionality mechanism, and to the possibility that it will be in place if Italy struggles to potentially enter into the financial markets at a cost which is sustainable. And this is the major concern to me. So what Monti has done is brought about a reform agenda. It was very ambitious. Now we can argue whether all of these reforms were implemented or not. Most likely not. They made a lot of laws, but the parliament blocked a substantial part of it. But there was this perception that the country was marching towards something that was more stability. And the expectations moving into the elections were expectations of some form of government that would have delivered on the way of these reforms that we're seeing during Monti. Now that hasn't happened, so we're clearly in a higher risk environment compared to where we were before, and the market has recognized pretty quickly. Once in the government or in the parliament, these new senators and deputies will soften down pretty substantially, and they will also learn the art of understanding how the machinery of the government works, which they haven't got the skills so far, possibly, right? So they will talk with the technicians, they will go to the treasury, and the technicians will tell them, okay guys, if you keep talking about the possibility of leaving the euro, or doing, I don't know what, renegotiation of the fiscal compact, we're gonna have to switch the lights off in the street in a matter of a couple of months. So they will understand this dynamic. So I think overall it's a negative outcome. It increases the uncertainty, and obviously just from an economic perspective, I think the biggest risk is that you have no visibility at all of what's going to be the fiscal regime in the medium term.